Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeanette, and in today's video I'm going to address a question that comes from one of my viewers asking, how do you stay the course being plant-based when your family isn't? So this can really apply to anybody, right? It's like no matter what dietary pattern you're following, if you eat a different way than the people that you live with or the people that you spend the majority of your time with, that can pose somewhat of a challenge, right? But there are ways to stay the course, and hopefully in today's video, these tips that I give you will be helpful to help you do that. So to help answer this question, I actually enlisted the help of my significant other, who happens to be an internal medicine physician, and he's honestly one of the most brilliant people I've ever met and a good physician to boot. But he's got a lot of insight and he's a great problem solver, and he came up with some great ideas. We put our heads together, we wrote down some tips for you that we could think of, and I wrote everything in a notebook here, so I'm just going to read from my notebook. But the first question he came up with, and it's brilliant: why aren't you staying the course? You need to ask yourself that question first, because if you don't know where the problem lies, how are you going to possibly find a solution to it? So obviously the answers to this are going to be individual, but some of the things we thought of were, is it that you don't feel well? Do you have nothing to snack on or prepare your meals with? Is it that your family won't eat your meals and it's not easy to adapt the foods to what they would eat? Is it that you're ordering out a lot, or you don't like the taste of the food? Maybe you have too many tempting things available. That's a big one. Or do you have time constraints where it's difficult for you to prepare your food? Maybe it's that you don't know how to cook, or maybe it's not easy for you to actually get these foods. So ask yourself that question first. Why aren't you staying the course? And at least do a deep dive and find out what the problem is so that you can move on and find a solution to it. The next tip I have is to ask yourself, what is your why? Why is it that you want to eat a certain way? So my dad's in this situation, I'm in this situation where the people that we live with do not eat the same way we do. My dad's why is that he wants to survive. So the reason that he adopted a plant-based diet in the first place is because he has bad cardiovascular disease, and by adopting a diet full of more wholesome foods, it's been one of the things that he's done. It's a lifestyle modification in addition to his good medical care that he's been able to use to keep his disease stable, and he's still alive and thriving to this day. My why is that I just want to prevent the same things that happened to both of my parents with cardiovascular disease, prevent chronic diseases as much as I can, maintain my healthy weight, do all the things that I like to do, be active, and just get everything I can out of life. And my dad has actually adopted a few tactics because we're both kitchen scavengers. We'll go into the refrigerator and the cupboards and open them up, and whatever's there, that looks good, sure, we'll grab it. So we have to have tactics to help us navigate these waters, if you will, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The next tip I have is communicate. So I am a firm believer that a lot of problems in the workplace, in the home, etc., are due to a lack of communication or poor communication. So if we don't communicate our ideas and our needs and our thoughts clearly to other people, people are going to misunderstand, they're going to make assumptions, they're going to get angry, or feelings are going to get hurt, something. It's a big mess. So communicate to other people why it's important for you to eat this way. Having said that, it's my own personal belief in not pushing my ways onto other people, and my dad is the same way. So we eat this way because it makes us feel good and it's our choice, but we don't go around pushing this on anybody else or expecting them to change. So food is a very personal thing, and food choices are impacted by a lot of different variables, and people have the right to choose how they want to eat, whatever way makes them feel their best. It's different for everybody. So we're very clear about what we need and why we do it, but we're also very respectful of other people's decisions and needs. So I guess that's just the one caveat I wanted to throw out about communication. Be clear about what you need and why you do it, but at the same time, it's just my philosophy for myself anyways, to not push my values or my ways of doing things on anybody else. The next tip I have is to build meals out of components. And by components, I mean individual parts that you can assemble and make a meal out of. And this is a really great idea when you have people at the table who eat different ways. So for example, you make pasta. So you have your cooked pasta. You can have a meatless sauce available. You can have steamed or sauteed veggies. And say somebody at the table likes meat. Great. So you brown some ground beef in a pan and throw that into their sauce. This is what I mean by components. They can pull individual pieces together to build the meal that they want. This gets a little more challenging if you're cooking a one-dish meal, for example, lasagna or some other type of casserole where everything is put into one dish. That's a little bit more challenging. So you would have to make, either 2 different lasagnas or, hey, everybody want to try my plant-based lasagna kind of thing. So if you build things out of individual parts that people can take a little of this and take a little of that and make their own bowl, that tends to work out really well. The next tip I have is environment. This is really important if you're going to be successful eating whatever dietary pattern you've chosen. If you have a lot of temptations around of the foods that you don't want to be eating, and they're there front and center, it's going to be really hard to willpower your way out of that. So I am a kitchen scavenger. I will go through the cabinets and the fridge, sometimes multiple times in the same 30 seconds, hoping that I find something different every time I open the door. But if I keep my healthy foods at the ready, I make much better decisions. And my dad is in the same boat. He does this with the refrigerator, and the first thing that he sees is the thing that he wants to grab and snack on. So he always makes sure that he has washed and ready grapes, and he's got cut up cantaloupe ready to go. Those are just the 2 things that he really likes. He has them in the fridge all the time. So when he opens the fridge, it's the first thing he sees. He reaches in, he can grab a handful and have a snack. Keep your healthy foods easily accessible and the indulgent foods less accessible. For example, if I keep a nice bar of dark chocolate in the cabinet here, it will be gone in a couple of days, I guarantee it. So what I do with things like chocolate, which I like every now and then, I will put those in the basement, which has, I got a shelf set up for a pantry down there, and I keep everything like that in bins. Well, it's a little bit of work to have to go into the basement, move everything off of those bins, open the bin, get what I want, and half the time I actually forget that that's down there. So that's how I keep things out of sight, out of mind. So what about when the people that you live with have their more indulgent or snack foods that they like? What should you do about that? Well, here in this house anyways, he's got the things that he likes to snack on, and some of them appeal to me and some of them don't. So what we do is we keep them in separate cabinets. So I don't even have to go into that cabinet. I've got my own, he's got his. Another idea is if, you have like snacks or something, portion them out and put people's names on them, because I know I'm less likely to eat something that's got somebody else's name on it. That's theirs. So that's an idea if you wanted to try that. But really, the big thing is to just set yourself up for success. Set your environment up so that it's going to work for you so that you can make the best choices. My next tip is food prep. If you're eating any kind of diet that involves whole natural foods, no matter what those are, there's going to be some degree of food prep, and you're going to have to invest a little bit of time to do that, or spend a little bit of money to have them already done for you. So either buy your foods prepped, like you can get cut up vegetables and fruits and things, or spend a little bit of time, maybe a couple days a week, to do a little bit of food prep so you have food, components really to pull together for the next few days, and then you can do another food prep and, replenish your supply. But food prep, it does take a little bit of time, and there's really no way around that. So if this is important to you, you have to invest the time to do it. My next tip involves shopping. So I suggest when you go to the grocery store, you go with a list, you have a plan of attack of what you're going to get, and you have a budget that you stick to. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a foodie. I love food. I have a food channel. I'm writing a cookbook. I could spend hours at Wegmans, and if I don't have a plan of attack and a budget to stick to, that could be a really interesting afternoon. My next tip is to find support. So when my father started eating this way, I joined him in this to be supportive. I had no idea that I was going to reap the health benefits and feel as good as I did. I just did it strictly to be supportive of him because this was such a huge lifestyle overhaul. And I didn't want him to be alone in doing this. Over the years, I found a lot of people who eat this way, and it's nice to have that camaraderie, and you share recipes and ideas and things like that. So try to find a community or a group of people that could be supportive to you. So there's online things. See if there's anything, you know, where you live in your community, like a meetup or anything like that. You know, maybe another family member. YouTube here, you know, you can always connect with people here. But I think that's really important, is to find that sense of community so that you can have support and be successful. And our last tip is to be kind to yourself. We're not perfect, okay? It's hard to make lifestyle changes. So no matter what you're doing, if you fall off track, don't beat yourself up. Just try to do your best and focus on making progress, not perfection. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed these 9 tips that he and I came up with if you're struggling to eat a certain way when the people in your group don't eat that way. But before I leave, I'm going to throw a few video clips in here of some dinners that he and I ate over the past couple of weeks, so you can see how I built my plate and he built his out of these individual parts that I made for dinners. So hopefully they give you some ideas, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have a great day. We'll see ya. It's summertime where we are, so he's outside grilling a lot. So on this night, he just did his regular burgers, and I did tofu speedies, which are just marinated tofu skewers, and I will put a recipe card at the top for these. But this night, we just had them with some hash browns and a nice salad, and it made for a really quick and easy meal for us. This was a video that he took during a family cookout, so we had a bunch of people who wanted regular burgers. My dad and I did the tofu speedies and my veggie burgers, and in the foil packet we grilled up some portobello mushrooms. And this is one of our favorite meals of all time. We do taco night, so I make handmade tortillas and I make gallo pinto, which is a Costa Rican rice and beans dish, and we use that as the filling. And he likes chicken in his, so we just get the pre-cooked chicken strips from Wegmans that he can throw in his tacos, and I can put what I want in mine, and this makes for a really easy and delicious weeknight meal.